Yeah, 12, I'm sorry.
Yes. I'm not following you, Ron.
Okay, so where it says, it's got planning, GIS, transfer of
Yes,
zone.
gotcha.
So we've got everything now except for Rockwood that's in our code department.
Right.
And this will come up a little later, but while we're talking about this, on number 18, the proclamation for today being Fellowship of Christian Athletes Day in the county. We appreciate you doing that. FCA is trying to get revamped in the county, and actually tomorrow night we will be having Wednesday night we will be having our first FCA get together at Roane State. Everyone's invited, and we're trying to get middle and high schools back into the FCA program. So thank you for that proclamation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henderson.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I guess I want to do an amendment to this. Can we do the 12-day rule? Waive the 12-day rule. How do I need to do that?
Amendment to what?
To the, about adding.
So there's nothing on here to amend.
No,
So you want to introduce a new resolution?
Yeah, that's what I would like to do. Can we do that now, or is that gonna be done another meeting?
That's up to the chairman.
So we can take a vote on waiving the 12-day rule to introduce a new resolution.
Yes.
And so that you're wanting to
I'd like
request
to,
it.
yes.
All right, at this time, can you call?
Mr. Chairman, just as a matter of practice, if you're asking for proof that the committee meeting dates were actually submitted as public notice. Is that right?
What goes in the paper like we do the beer board.
Okay.
And because, I mean, if somebody was to come in and do an audit, and I'm sure that they might, I don't know,
So
we
as a
need
matter
to
of
make sure
practice,
that everything's done in accordance.
we can provide that in the packet.
Well, first off, is that not a recorded item already in there?
There's a calendar that's put in the paper for each month of what meetings are taking place. Of course, if one is canceled and rescheduled, we could probably, but you have to keep in mind now that Roane County News only has a paper on Wednesday. The rest of the time it's online.
But Bev, we have documentation showing that those meetings were held, correct? Okay.
No, that's not what he's asking.
No,
That they were held, that a notice was made public, but prior to a meeting being held. And that paper, that documentation be added to a packet.
If they're holding meetings over the phone and they're not following the proper procedure, we don't need to be getting our committees in trouble. So, I mean, the people's gotta have access to be able to do these over the phone if they want to, what county attorney was saying. So, I mean, to protect ourselves, do we need to start adding this to the packets like the beer board?
Let's get back on track here. So I have a motion to waive the 12-day rule. So let's put that to vote at this time right now. And then Mr. Berry, I'll come to you after that.
After the vote?
Yes. All right, first I'll need a second on the waiving of the 12-day rule.
Second.
All right. Motion by Henderson, second by Gann. And then any discussion? Mr. Berry.
I think the confusion is, we're not saying that committees have met by phone. We're just saying that an individual board member had been a part of the meeting by phone. And I think
Shelby voted.
he did, and that's what I'm saying by phone. And that's what I was asking is that member, was he okay to vote? I think in terms of making sure that our committees are meeting, I think our clerks are doing that when you set the meeting dates. Is that correct? Amber, you're setting policy by making sure that we don't meet without a notice being given.
Correct.
Right. So
That's not what I'm asking.
okay, so then my next question to him was, is if what he's saying is the committee, you can meet by phone, then that was my next question is, as her notice says now, it has to say on there, the public can address the committee by phone. So we would do that in that notice.
But is that being done now?
No, because I think we just found out tonight
Right.
that
So,
it can be done, so.
that's
To do
what,
that, you have
that's
to
what
have
I'm
a designated-
addressing.
You have to have a designated line. I mean, if we say the public can attend, say solid waste committee, then we're gonna have to have a designated line for the public to call.
That's right.
So, I don't think we really wanna go there, do we?
Well, then let's
I think it's the
cancel
law.
altogether the meeting by phone, but you can't do that.
I think it's the statute, from what I understand, the statute is what's giving them the right to do that.
The statute is giving them the right to do that. Let me qualify, you can impose requirements on your own committees, but the Public Utility Board is a separate body created by you pursuant to a separate statute. So you really can't put obligations on them. You do have the right as a citizen to make inquiries as to their notices and their procedures and,
But the only thing your motion is gonna do is bind us.
I'll
To do
withdraw
that.
it. I withdraw it.
Motion withdrawn, let's move on. All right. It's exhausting. See, that's why I don't like waiving that 12 days. So acceptance of committee reports and correspondence. We voted on that, Amber?
We are now.
All right, 14-0, notaries, do we have any? All right, please, see the posting on the TV monitors. All right, I have a motion I got a motion from Hendrickson, second by Commissioner Henderson.
I appreciate your willingness, sir.
Commissioner Dodd.
Nothing further.
All right, at this time, the commission will hear anybody from the audience or delegation, so if you want to come up and speak, we ask that you limit it to 3 minutes.
Shannon, we have to vote on the numbers.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. 14-0. All right, hearing of delegation, so at this time, if you want to come up.
How many minutes have I got?
3 minutes, you'll see a clock right there.
I'm here to, make you aware of this right here. That's a placket that, should be used anytime you're moving,
Sir, what's your name?
Strader, Dr. William Strader.
Okay, thank you.
And what I have worked for, I finished my work, I'm working, I quit. FLW Outdoors, event marketing coordinator, and travel around the country doing business for them. But what we're doing, what we're allowing as a county here, we own this water over here that's running through here. It belongs to us as members of the state of Tennessee, and we're allowing things to go on in it that's not legal. And they're gradually and slowly, they're killing us. They're killing our fishing. They're killing the environment. $52.4 million, or 52.4 million anglers contribute $148 billion each year into the United States industry. And $945,500 or jobs are created by the fishing industry and what goes on in it. There's $1.8 billion contributed towards our conservation through it. And we have nobody overseeing it, caring about it. But yet these people, like that placket I showed you, they're running down the river, dumping these poison, which there's 5 of them that they use, into our waterways, which are killing, literally killing our environment and everything about it. And it goes on it started in 2016. And this is a following from back in 87, 88, 89, when TVA disposed of everything that was green on the river and the lake. And so they started again, it is very, very, very financially alluring and pleasing to the individuals that are doing it. At one time, they'd give $3,500 a dock to do it, and they could do half a dozen docks with one sweep of this stuff, and they call it one thing, but I call it dumping. They dump this poison into the waterway, and it tastes good, dry, and it comes back each time. But over the period of time, it's gonna cost us. It's sort of like what's running in from the north and running in from the west over here, so. I would, if anybody here would like to entertain the idea of sitting down and looking at it, sharing about it, and seeing some pictures I have, I'd be more than glad to do it. But, there's several people and several companies that are doing it. So, I won't worry you long, okay?
Thank you, sir.
That's all.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, Dr. Schrader came to our environmental review board meeting and spoke with us concerning this. So I asked him if he would like and come to speak with commission meeting. We talked on the environmental review board, and they said that they would look into this and do some other search on the chemicals and the things for us, if we wish for them to do. One of the things that the environmental review board stressed is that they're aware of this dumping or spraying or dumping, as you say. But the problem that they said that they've discovered is we have some out-of-state companies that are coming into our area. One of the gentlemen that's on the environmental review board said that he lives in a cove, and folks will just come and knock on their door and say, hey, we can spray your dock area, we can spray, in your cove. They charge a certain amount, and then they're gone. And so, one of the things that the environmental review board stressed to us is we need to be aware of, because they do have to be licensed in the state of Tennessee, but a lot of the out-of-state folks that be coming in here, they could be, using any type of chemical to do it, whatever's the cheapest. So if it's the will of the commission, we can get the environmental review board involved and get them to do a lot more of the research for us. They're really good about doing that. But I think one of the biggest concerns that I would have is by the state of Tennessee, these companies are licensed. But it's the out-of-state companies that are coming in and just going throughout the lakeside communities, knocking on the doors, saying, hey, we can spray. They're doing it for the cheaper price. And as we always know, the cheaper price isn't always best for the environment or for the person, so.
Well, there's an NPDES, there's a thing that they work on through the cities, and it doesn't apply to them. There's several things that they're doing illegal. They went from the trucks that they were hauling, and they were having plackets on them. They bought a whole new line of new trucks, and there's nothing on them, and they use TVA as a ploy. And I've been to TVA, and back when Bill Johnson was CEO, the head of TVA, he promised me that there'd be no more of this. He said, we're stopping it today, but 2 weeks later we find out that Uncle Bill was leaving. He took his money and run. So I have got documentation. I got proof of what goes on. They care little or nothing about the public. We've had individuals that have spent the night in hospitals because of poisoning from them. Children playing, they don't slow down, they do what they do, and they take their money and they run. And they're killing us, they're robbing people in the county. And somewhere down the road, we're all gonna pay, because in 2017, they dumped directly into the intake there at Rockwood. And Rockwood, all the Rockwood people that are on the waterway drank the poison, a certain percentage of it, because all they do is add chemicals to kill the bacteria. They don't filter the water. So anytime you drink a glass of that water, you were getting a percentage of chelated copper or 2,4-D, several other poisons they mix, and there's nobody to oversee what they're mixing. They can mix whatever they want.
All right, thank you, sir, I appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'm a little confused because, if you remember several years ago, some folks came to the commission, they were from Alabama. And they're the first people that we hired to spray. I'm saying we, homeowners. Because starting in about June, hydrilla starts drawing, and that's what you're talking about, it's hydrilla, right?
Well, it's.
So the hydrilla,
We've got,
right,
hydrilla.
hydrilla is what we can't kill. So that's what comes back every year. So if the environmental review board, because they're telling us in our contract with them, we can swim in the water 3 days after they spray. They tell you to stay out of the water for 3 days. You can, no, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. You can't irrigate for 3 days, you can swim that same day. So I'm assuming that I'm putting a little trust in the Department of Tennessee, the state of Tennessee, to make sure, like you say, that they're licensed to control whatever these are. Now, when it first started, it's hard telling what we had dumped in there because I thought, well, I can control it. I ordered enough pellets to probably last 3 years. And then you start thinking, I don't know how to mix that properly. So those pellets are still in my basement. These people, they're south of the river. I don't know of anybody that's out of state now that's coming in because south of the river folks are cheaper. But if we don't do that, our only alternative is you don't use your dock.
Use rock salt.
Well,
Rock salt.
well, but you know, then we're gonna have somebody pouring tons of rock salt.
Well, you just pour rock salt. Rock
in the
salt.
bottom. But my point is, if we wanna do something through the environmental review board, they just need to make sure that the people that are getting the permits are licensed to operate those permits. Because if you remember, we were given pictures down in Guntersville where people had to cut their way from the coves to the middle of the lake. Because this is only shallow water, right?
Well, they're using mechanical reapers. They're cutting and harvesting it. They're using it for food for cattle and hogs and all that.
Right. But however, it's the homeowners, which is gonna decrease our values, homeowners. But if they wanna do something, I would recommend that the review board just make sure those folks are licensed or doing what they're supposed to be doing through the state of Tennessee. I think it's through the agricultural department.
And what I would recommend that, we involve, our state representative to look at that at a national level. Because I can't do nothing with someone getting a license from the state of Tennessee. I can question through this, the state representative can actually have more leverage and question than our legislative body.
But they're actually telling us we can swim as soon as they finish spraying. They come by with a pontoon boat, have sprayers in the bottom, and they're spraying the bottom, and they'll do that 3 times during the summer. That's how fast the weeds grow.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Schrader, you said in 2018, they dumped directly into the intake system. Who is they?
It was, Troy Dolby and, Aquatic Services out of Alabama. And this is what it says on the plaque here, when they dumped aquatic chelated copper, which chelated copper is a heavy metal. So they dumped it and they said, there is no restrictions on swimming, but do not use the water for household, domestic, irrigation, or drinking purposes for 5 days after the treatment. And there is no restrictions on fish consumption, which it kills the fish. I mean, that's documented. It takes everything in its path, it wipes it out.
What was Troy's last name?
Pardon?
Did you say Troy's last name was?
Goldsby?
Gold.
Yeah.
Dr. Schrader, did Guntersville, did they outlaw this in Guntersville?
Gainesville no more. No more poison on Gainesville land. In Guntersville, yeah. Yeah, no more. You can use a commercial, reaper or harvester, but you cannot use any more poison. Because they see the value of what fishing does for Guntersville. And over the past 2 years, I guess it is, they saw how much revenue they lost. And they said no more. So they passed an ordinance that you cannot use any type of poison on any type of vegetation in the water.
And this company is from where, Alabama?
Yes, sir.
What part, you know?
This one is Alabama.
Thank you.
You think this is a bigger threat than the Asian carp, the fishing?
Let me tell you something. The grass is gonna be the only protection against the Asian carp. Carp can't jump through that stuff, you know? So you've got something looking at you here, and it's coming, it's a wheeler, so we've got more problems. Hopefully, soon that'll save us.
Commissioner Gann, if you would, have the Environmental Review Board draft correspondence to send to the state representative, Monty Fritz and others, to review the licensing and practice of that.
Will do, sir.
All right, next.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Done signing? No.
Yeah, tell us your name, where you from? Name?
Kingston. Doug Clark from Kingston.
Okay.
And I wish the good doctor, had done this when I was in Vietnam and drinking Agent Orange. That was a trip, and, yeah, environmental protection is very, serious. And I come today, I've tried to reach Wade, had an appointment with him, but I wrote on my board, I switched the hour and the day. So I showed up a day late, $1 short. I'm concerned about, how much we are spending, for jails and maintenance and all. We're overcrowded and we're gonna build new ones. And if I'm not wrong, and I can be here, did we not institute court costs, for people who had speeding tickets and DUIs, et cetera, and they would come, they would just pay the ticket rather than go to court and have to pay the ticket and the court costs. And the court cost helps to pay for the clerks and the trustees and the people that work at the courthouse. Is that right? Is that right? So that was a way of paying for what you did, and it was another penalty. So I extrapolate that. Boy, that's a big word. We say that once someone has finished their sentence and are released, they paid their debt to society. And I don't believe that's true. We as a society have incurred that debt. We have supported them. We have provided for them for that period of time. And it's easy enough to look what it costs to take care of an inmate for a year or whatever. But when they finish, there's a bill that they ran up that each of us pay. And I suggest, I don't want to harm them. I want them to be out and get productive. But at the end of their life, like the end of my life, I will give my belongings and my wealth to my children. And eventually, we hope they become productive, but at the end of their life, we should be notified and be on the list as having a lien against that estate that pays that bill or a portion of that bill back to the county. If we don't do something, we're gonna be the same way 50 years from now that we are now. We have to generate some kind of income, and it's not gonna quit. It's not gonna make anybody say, I can't do these drugs, I can't sell these drugs, because if I do, I'll have to pay for it after I die. It won't do it. And neither will put something up that says, if you go to jail, you're gonna lose your right to vote. I don't know anybody that would have stopped. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. And like I say, I don't want them to have to pay all that. They don't necessarily have to pay for it, and that would be up to this august body to make a decision. I'm sorry for another time. The other thing is, and Ron, you might know this, is it possible, like colonial life, Columbia Pen, $9.99 a month for life insurance. That, like probation, they would have to get a life insurance policy, whatever it is. Or, we've already invested a certain amount of money in them, we could make the payment and make whatever it is. If it's $40,000 that we've spent on them, you know, $10 a month at 120, if it goes 10 years, you know, $12,000, not a big deal. But I don't know whether we can insure
I don't,
somebody's life.
so I can tell you right now, the county's not gonna take out an insurance policy on someone that we just incarcerated and then expect a payment at the end of that, life. I don't see the county doing that.
No, I understand, I know it's a wild idea,
And
but
yet, we're-
if we were allowed to, we are the one, we're paying the life insurance, the family doesn't get it. We are the beneficiary on the life insurance.
Yeah.
Just like if I took the life insurance
You have to have
out,
ownership
have to have ownership of what?
of the person that got life insurance.
Okay, well, that makes sense, because you could take life insurance out on somebody and then wipe them out and you collect, you know. Sometimes you get married to them and they do that. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, if I end up in jail and get out, then somewhere when I do well, and some of these people that are in jail now, they have parents that are doing well, and they may pass away and leave an inheritance to this particular inmate, and now they've got some money. Now, many of them will liquidate somehow.
Sir, you made your point, I appreciate your time.
I'm sorry, thank you for listening.
All right, next,
Mr. Chairman,
Good to see you.
Mr.
Chair
Chairman,
recognizes Commissioner,
Wilson.
Wilson. Go
Hey,
ahead.
Mr. Clark, I just wanted to reiterate something very expeditiously, if I can, too.
Yes, sir.
That there is a jail study committee that is actively looking at how we're dealing with the situation, and we're not spending anything currently on any facility, but we are under plan of action about doing something. But very fortunately, we are under limits as we speak, especially after COVID, but we also have some active programs I'm not sure if you're aware of that is helping these inmates that are getting trained and
yes,
being more productive out into society.
Yes,
So, and that's one of our goals, is to get some more programs that are, to get the recidivism rate down
Yes.
very low. That's the ultimate goal, so we don't want them back as a returning customer.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah. So we're fighting a battle that most every county in the state is
Oh, yes,
fighting,
sir.
so.
Yeah, and like I say, I'm not trying to penalize them and get them until the day they die. It's after they're gone, okay? But I spoke my piece.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Berry.
Real quick, you've seen the change now, for the first time ever, I think, we've seen parents who have now been jailed because they bought their son a gun. That may be where some of this is gonna go to, is the parents being responsible for some of their stuff.
I think that's the
That may be
answer.
something.
Truancy, if you send a parent to school with the kid that misses school, and she has to go to class with him, every class and lunch break, that will curtail them cutting school anyway. Sorry.
Thanks, sir.
All right, thank you. Ma'am?
Hello, good evening, everyone. I am the newly elected Roane County Republican Party Chairwoman. My name is Lisa Joseph. I came out here tonight because I would like to get to know all of our local politicians. I think it's very important. We're growing our Roane County Republican Party. We started about 5 people last year, and now we're up to 40 plus. We're a very engaged community, and I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you. And I would like to welcome you to any of our meetings. We hold monthly meetings, the 3rd Monday of every month at the Kingston Community Center at 6:30, which means next Monday on the 15th, we will be having our meeting. Ben comes. Thank you, Ben, for being so engaged with us. But one of the things that I would like to do is to get you all to be more active with us, to let us know what's going on. Anybody who comes to our meetings, I will give you a platform to be able to talk about what's happening in Roane County. I think it's really important for community engagement to come out and speak to your constituents in our forum as well. These are the people that are very politically active in the community, and they would love to hear about what's going on, be able to talk to you about different things that they feel are important to our community. So one of the things that I'm really trying to do is I would like to bring some unity and some cohesion to the Republican Party. So I hope to see you at one of our meetings. If you want to see me after the meeting, I can give you one of my business cards. But thank you for letting me speak, and I look forward to individually meeting each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, next. Anyone else want to address the county commission? All right, let's move on to the county attorney's report.
Mr. Chairman, I have nothing to report. I will answer questions if anybody has anything.
Any questions from the county attorney?
I do.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Brackett.
Some of the traffic stuff that we've talked about off of Long Road, preserve traffic and all this, who or how do we find out? I'm not saying it would happen, just potentially. Looking at maybe legally one-way road, maybe off of Longville at Union, going in the preserve, putting the traffic out on Galahar. Who do we, is that something you look into? Is that something that the road superintendent looks into?
You probably need to start with road superintendent.
So
But it would have to come back to you as a body to make that determination. But you would need to start with road superintendent.
Okay.
So I would start with someone on the subcommittee for the highway department.
To maybe look at it, like I said, instead of all that traffic coming on Longville and being a menace, maybe that we make that a one-way in, put them out on Galahar. I don't know, just a thought.
Yes. But that's where I would start.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yeah, where are we at with the lawsuit on the fire truck?
Well, we are waiting for the federal court to schedule a hearing on the fire truck company's motion to require us to go through arbitration. And there's no way to speed that up. Basically, they schedule it, they send me a notice that they've scheduled it, and I'm required to reschedule everything else I have that day in order to be there.
So is the guy we paid to do the evaluation, has that done happen, I guess?
Yes, he has done his evaluation.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Gandy.
Mr. Lefferts, I know that you're not the attorney for this, but does Roane County still have a standing lawsuit against TVA?
As I recall, it all got dismissed. I mean,
All of it?
I was not involved in that suit, but, as I recall, it was all dismissed. You would probably need to, inquire as to the attorney that was hired to do that.
Thank you, sir. All right, any other questions for the county attorney? Seeing none, we'll move on to the county executive's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a few things tonight. First of all, progress towards the health department renovation and document storage facility continues. After completely removing all contents down to the studs, we discovered 6 different kinds of water intrusion into the facility. Not six different points, but 6 different kinds of intrusion and multiple points of some of those kinds of intrusion. Without completely gutting the facility, we would never have discovered all the sources and would have ended up back in the same situation. However, we are now very confident that we will return the staff back to an environment in October that is free from any moisture-related threats to employee or public health. And I'm confident it's going to be a facility that we can be proud of. But I wanted you all to know that progress is moving at breakneck speed, as fast as it can. But that was interesting to me. I thought it'd be interesting to you to learn that. The new spay-neuter clinic is nearing completion. Sergeant Sparks and his crew have done a tremendous job. We think you'll be proud of this facility as well and the amount of money that was saved to accomplish it. So be on the lookout for a grand opening announcement in the coming weeks. Wednesday is the deadline for the last mile broadband grant through TNECD to provide broadband service to unserved and underserved areas. Roane County is one of 4 counties in East Tennessee that is eligible and the only one that participated in TNECD's Broadband Accelerate program. Our broadband team has put Roane County in the best possible position for grant funding. There are 5 separate internet service providers that Derek Sims, who's leading that team, has been working with on their applications. We should know in about a month if ISPs will receive funding to provide internet service to the door of 2,580 homes or businesses in Roane County that are currently unserved or underserved. And the reason I bring that to your attention especially is to give the Broadband Committee and the ARP Committee notice that if ISPs win this grant in Roane County, that those committees will need to meet to decide how to spend the roughly $1.5 million that we have set aside for broadband projects. So keep your fingers crossed. We're in the best position we can be in. And if we win, if companies win on our behalf, then those committees are going to need to meet pretty quickly to figure out how to spend those funds. All of you have received an invitation to a major project announcement for Wednesday at 2 p.m. this week. This announcement will raise the total number of new industrial jobs in Roane County to 1,020, just announced for this fiscal year alone. This marks the second year in a row that Roane County has seen greater than 1,000 new industrial jobs announced in a single year. So I hope all of you can attend on Wednesday. And then finally, it was requested during the Budget Committee meeting that my staff begin providing a financial report of the county's bottom line for the month during commission meetings. So Connie, will you please report on our cash flow statement for March 2024?
Okay, each one of you have received a financial summary statement. If you'll turn to page 3 of that financial statement, we're only going to look at a few of our funds. If you have any questions on the others, you're free to come into my office and I'll address any questions you might have. So total revenues that the general fund has received, $18,706,700. Turn to the next page. Your expenditures are $18,288,734.76. On this report, it gives a positive effective fund balance of $417,965. But if we take out the opiates of $190, we've actually added $227,660 to the unassigned fund balance for that fund.
Mr. Chairman, this concludes my report. Be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for the county attorney?
Mr. Chairman.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Berry.
Ms. Cook, on this report, we're basing all of our, on a monthly basis. Is that how we got it broken down?
Yes, we report these on actual, their year-to-date,
Okay.
but it is what we have received up until the end of March.
Okay, so like for instance, on the current property tax, we're 37% of total.
No, that's an average. We are roughly 98%. Budget is $11,843,918, and we have received $11,613,791.
Okay, and when do we normally get our in lieu of tax payments? I see we've got TVAs at 100%.
TVA comes in about quarterly, so we're still a little shy on that one, so we should be receiving it.
DOE should be any time. We got an email last week saying the check was on the way.
DOE goes into your general debt service fund. That's about 1.1 million.
Yep.
Thank you for this report. It's a nice way to keep up with where we are. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right. Any other questions for the county attorney or county executive?
Yes, sir. On the broadband thing, you hit it right on the head, because if like, for instance, there's 2 or 3 companies that wanted to come in that are just coming in. They haven't been here, they haven't serviced anything. all this time we've been asking and they've done nothing. So some of these companies that they come in with some grant money, we're gonna have to be careful of because it's gonna take them, we've gotta have money allocated by the end of this year, because it's art money. They have to have it finished by 26, so we've gotta be careful how we divvy that money, and who we divvy it to. I don't think it's gonna be a problem. I think we've probably got a couple of players that are gonna be huge and we can go with.
And based on, you and I talked about this last week about making sure the county gets fully covered. Going back to my conversation when they first met with me and Derek to let us know we were eligible for this, which was a surprise at the time, but the understanding was from that conversation that they're looking at covering the county as a whole as well. So while the county is divided in 3 sub-areas, I don't foresee a situation where any of those sub-areas would end up being unserved. So, but I will be communicating with ECD to make sure that that's the case, hopefully.
Thank you, Mr.
All right, let's move on to special orders. Confirmation of appointment to Jeff Sitka to the Environmental Review Board by Wade Creswell, County Executive. Term will expire July 30th, 2027. Motion by Brackett, second by Duff. Commissioner Brackett.
Thank God he's willing to do it.
Commissioner Duff.
He's attended a couple of meetings, he'll be a great addition to that board.
All right, any discussion?
Okay, one thing, Mr. Sickow is an engineer from Oak Ridge National Lab. He also serves on the Industrial Development Board. But just for notice for your packet in the resolution for ERB amending their bylaws, Mr. Sickow, if you all approve him, will be the 7th voting member. So there's a number in the language there, about 7 voting members, and then you've got commissioners, and you've got me, that he would be the 7th member. He doesn't appear in that resolution because he hasn't been appointed yet. So just know that we're aware of that, but that will apply later in the agenda. Thank you.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Brackett, did you want to talk on?
No.
All right, motion carries 14-0.
Yes, sir. One other thing, under special orders that we have approved, we've got some, are you going to do your proclamations under special orders, or we got some folks here? I didn't know from FCA that, if you wanted to do the proclamation, I don't know.
We did that in the office, and I didn't bring it with me. I didn't know that's what we were going to do tonight.
Okay, that's fine. One other point, this is county government month, and I would propose that, April 29th, that we feed our county employees out in the parking lot hamburgers and hot dogs and just show our appreciation for their service to our county. I think, we can get enough folks, anybody wants to come and help cook, we get enough cooks, and I just think it's a great idea to while it's county government month, to show our.
Can we have a Dunkin' booth for the mayor? Dunkin' booth for the mayor too?
Y'all throw stuff at me all the time.
I'd just like to, I guess, just get approval to do that out on the parking lot.
So you want us to issue a permit?
Whatever I need to be legal. I don't want to do county.
In jail, that's my
Wait a minute, this is the guy who wanted to quit feeding. Hold on a minute, we'll discuss that.
Won't there be parking, I mean, where are you gonna do it out there?
Just do it on the backside of the parking lot out there. Just make sure folks don't park there that day. Just line some grills up and feed them and be done with it. Be over.
Our staff can start working on that.
Yeah, please, do. I mean, other than us, I don't think you need a vote or anything for you to feed.
No, I just like to make sure it's okay
Yeah.
with everyone that we do.
I'm fine with it, and I'll come eat.
Okay, good. Good.
We looked at the last Friday in the month as a possibility at lunchtime.
That's 26.
Yep.
All right.
You are gonna do this on every shift, correct?
Excuse me?
You're gonna do this on every shift, correct?
For lunch, yes. If they'll come here and eat lunch, every shift can come here and eat lunch.
Well, no, I'm saying you prepare it on the shift that they're
We
on.
do it for what, 200 people, I guess, 230 people, whatever we
They
got.
go to lunch like from 11:30 to.
We're talking
2.
about like for the police department,
Yes,
and all that.
your,
They're on
your
different
3 shifts, yeah, so the ones that are doing,
Yeah, everybody would be invited.
Well, but are you gonna be able to
They
do
would
it
come.
at 12 o'clock, at 5
We will
o'clock?
cook from 11:30 to 1 o'clock on the 26th, and everybody's invited that works for county government.
29.
26th is a Friday.
Okay, 26.
At what time?
11:30 to 2:30?
1,
11:30 to 1?
yes.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Let's move on about the county's business here. Not the people.
Mr. Chairman, leave the county government, make things complicated.
Yeah, I mean, I've entertained a lot of stuff tonight, so let's get on into new business and continue to roll here. All right, resolution 042401, authorizing the county attorney to file a lawsuit against each property owner regarding the properties as listed as an attached case request. Motion by Commissioner Henderson, second by Commissioner Gann. Commissioner Henderson.
Well, my point is, I think we ought to not do it. On the tax sales, we're picking who we want to condemn their property to take. And, people that we're not condemning their property is putting bad stuff into the environment. And we're bypassing, penalizing them for not making their taxes. So I'd say, I can't support.
All right, thank you for the motion. These are two separate issues. One is a tax holding.
I understand
The other
that,
one
but
is
if
a
we pick and choose
violation
who
of
we
the ordinance.
condemn, then that's one of them, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the motion. Second by Commissioner Gann. Commissioner Gann.
If it's against the code, sir, we must follow the code.
Thank you, sir. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Motion carries 13-1. All right, resolution 042402, a resolution authorizing the county attorney to file a lawsuit against each property owner regarding the properties as listed as attached case request, formed by violating Roane County Resolution 12-1805 and or Resolution 12-1806. Motion by Wilson, second by Commissioner Henderson. Commissioner Wilson.
Nothing further.
Commissioner Henderson.
Will not be supported.
Thank you, sir, for a second. All right, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Motion carries 13-1. Resolution 042403, a resolution to amend and update the bylaws of the Environmental Review Board. Motion by Commissioner Berry, a second by Mr. Duff. Commissioner Berry.
Yes, sir. Under the, and this may be what you're talking about earlier, Mr. Executive, was the 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, the third whereas says we're increasing the membership to 7.
Right.
Okay, the next whereas says we're reactivating it by resolution, increasing membership to 8 and one member. So are we at 8 now?
The next one's referring to previous language, correct? Is referencing previous language.
That's the.
And remember too, all that really matters is now therefore be it resolved. The whereases are just building the context for what we're doing. So these are just, just painting the picture for why we are resolving to change
over on
these.
Article 4 under membership.
Yes, there you go.
Will be comprised of 5 to 7 voting general members.
Right. So and that's exactly what I was referring to. If you go to the second page, and you see the list there. So the first 3, Mary Ann, Susan, and Carol, are general voting members. And then you've got to skip your 3 commissioners, skip Tim as my representative, and then the next 3, Lily, Joe, and Don, are 3 voting members. That's 6. And then the new one you pointed tonight, Jeff, is number 7.
Okay, so Tim Suter's not a voting member.
As my he represents me.
So is he
I am a voting member, but I'm not one of those 7.
But is he a voting member?
Yeah.
When he's voting, we
As
represent.
my proxy, yes.
As a representative.
One or the other.
Yes.
So I guess I'm trying to figure out how many members do we have on the ECB board?
It'll be, after tonight, 11.
11.
Well, but, so 3 of those are commissioners, one's the executive, and then 7 appointed general members.
But in terms of the membership, it really doesn't matter whether the commissioners or not, right? They're members, they're actually voting members of the board.
By their designation, yes.
If this passes.
I'm sorry?
If this passes.
If this
Currently
passes,
not.
yes.
Currently, commissioners
Well,
are
and that's what I'm saying,
non-voting.
but it's confusing to the number of members we're gonna have on the board. Are we gonna have, we're gonna have 11, or we're gonna have 8, or?
Well, and that's what I was saying, I think I read that as 7 appointed members, and then you've got by designation, up to 3 commissioners and the county executive.
So how many does it take to have a quorum?
Well, that's the reason why they're doing this, is because
Is it?
right now commissioners can't vote, and neither can I don't think.
Okay.
No,
So we're changing it all.
Yes,
Yes.
that's the
We
point.
just need to be sure
So
we're
it'd be
changing,
6,
we're
would be
getting the
4.
language right, and that's what I'm asking.
So in this, if this is approved, 6 people makes it quorum, 6 members make it quorum.
There's been numerous times.
The first 3 and the 3 commissioners, is that the 6?
Well, whoever 6 is there, I mean, any 6, yeah.
There's been numerous times when we've not been able to have the meeting because it could not make.
Well, I'm not,
Yeah.
all I'm trying to
Trying to
figure
get
out is how many members are we gonna have on the board so we can determine what it takes to have a quorum. If we're gonna have 8 members,
So 7 appointees, up to 7 appointees,
okay,
then up to 3 commissioners, and then me or my
so
designee,
we've got 11 people on the board.
up to.
Good.
Right. And this will put us at 11,
Okay, that's,
if this is approved, yeah.
so 11 members.
And I don't want to speak for y'all too, y'all don't have to.
That's correct, you have.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and so you're appointing the commissioners, and I guess there, Mr. Chairman, I'm just getting, what we need to make sure is our committee on committees understands that you've got 3 commissioners on another committee. So they would, when you're looking at committees, that would be them serving as a committee on committee appointment to, in essence, to that.
In the last meeting, I reappointed them because committee on committees had appointed them.
Right.
Which
Right.
wasn't within the.
Right, but I'm saying that in terms of committee on committees, when you're counting committees for.
When we do that,
For
we have
individuals,
to,
you just need to remember.
we have to include that to
Right.
understand the knowledge of that.
Exactly. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Commissioner Duff,
Nothing further.
any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Motion carries 14-0. Resolution 042404, resolution to approve a 3-year agreement with Cleaner Security Systems for installation and monitoring of burglar alarm systems at Roane County Recycling Center. Motion by Wilson, second by Parks. Commissioner Wilson.
I do assume this has been through the proper committee, but my only question is, what warranted this?
That our contract with the current, provider is.
That's what it is. Okay, easy enough.
And this is a different provider, but we have
Sure.
good experience with this provider in other locations.
Okay, good deal.
Commissioner Parks.
Nothing further.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Goss.
Mr. Chairman, this was, actually talked about in our recycling, for our solid waste meeting. And something that I brought up, and I hope the county in the near future, or even as soon as possible, would look at, a lot of places we install burglar alarms, but we don't install smoke alarms. And have we ever thought, how much investment, dollar-wise, have we got in equipment in the recycling center and like down at the Parks and Rec with all our equipment? I hope that the, next budget committee, next year, we'll look at it, try to, appropriate some money because, in the event of a fire and we lose it, that's gonna put, out of service. I mean, expect it anymore, but, it ain't gonna happen in any building, but that's just, I guess being on the fire side again, I just have a concern about stuff like that, us losing equipment when, we could possibly, help prevent some of that. That's all I have, sir.
All right, Commissioner, Murray, would you?
No, I was just checking on the bid, but it's under our bid amount, so we don't have to bid it.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Motion carries 14-0. Resolution 04-2405, resolution to adopt solid waste and recycling policies and procedures. Motion by Wilson, second by Gann. Commissioner Wilson.
This is one that's been, brought to the budget committee, it's run through the proper committee that, recommended this, change in the fee structure to $35, for commercial that's bringing in a large amount of box mattresses, correct?
That is correct, for box springs and mattresses.
All right, Commissioner Gann.
Nothing, being pretty much explained it.
All right, any other discussion? Commissioner Berry.
Mr. Chairman, is this just voting on that, or are we voting on the
Policies and procedures.
The whole thing.
Yeah, it is the whole thing.
That's what I was thinking.
That was a major change though.
So the fee schedule is there, maybe lose my place. One question, on our employees, are all of our full-time employees getting the same benefits?
They're eligible, all full-time
Okay.
employees are eligible.
And the reason I ask is because we've got a different situation at our Glen Alice station. We've got a full-time employee there. And yet that's open, that one is open the same time as all the others are open. So basically, we probably just need to look at that and either get
As a
somebody
full-time employee, instead of being hourly,
in a part-time. So we treat all of the centers the same because all of them are part-time.
that's on the one with full-time
With
employee.
him. So we need to watch that, and we need to probably just make sure we get on the employee, the days that the county employees are off, we need to make sure we have somebody else working for him on that day, so that he's open. We may work on that. Yeah, I can get to this.
I wasn't aware that he was,
He's the only full-time.
I knew that, but I didn't know.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Motion carries 14-0. Resolution establishing the contribution rate to the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System for legacy employees, those hired prior to October 15, 2015. Motion by Wilson, second by Hooks. Commissioner Wilson.
Nothing further.
Commissioner Hooks. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Motion carries 14-0. Resolution 04-2407, a resolution to create a new fund that would house the operation of the opioid settlement funds. Motion by Wilson, second by Gann. Commissioner Wilson.
This comes by recommendation. This has been through the budget committee. This is money that's, we're getting unprecedented funds from the opioid settlement. And for us to be able to not draw for money, be able to correctly use it as well, it's gonna need a separate fund, especially when that's designated fund. So and the money's gonna keep coming in, so that's what that is. So nothing further after that.
All right, Commissioner Gann.
Anything from county executive you'd like to?
But just, Connie and I were talking about, if you, on that second page, if you look at, the top line, function 46845, where it's $954,954. We don't really know what's coming our way. That's a best guess placeholder amount for what revenue we expect. But every time we go and meet with consultants that tell us what the numbers look like, there's a new settlement that comes out, falls out of the sky. We anticipate that the largest settlement is still yet to be settled in court. It could be $1 million alone, just for us. So that amount's just a placeholder. It will change over time. So in our budget, I wouldn't be surprised if we go through the budget process after creating this, that number's different then too. But the one thing that we do know for sure is the second line, 622, 637 is what we have in reserve code based on funds we've already received. So if we come back to you in the next month or two, and I think we might, with another recommendation about how to spend funds, that's the funds we'll be pulling from, unless there's something that gets deposited. Does that make sense? Yes, sir. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Berry.
Be a little enthusiasm there, Mr. Chairman.
There's only 8, you've commented 16 times.
Just think how much you've learned tonight.
Abundance of.
Nine
Insurance on these late
before, that's in our general fund. So we're drawing interest on that money now, right?
No, the six, Connie, help me out, 622, 637, no, I'll take it back. 622, 637 is in the general fund.
Plus the 190,000 that is currently receipted for current revenues.
Okay.
622 is prior year money.
Okay,
Right.
so we're drawing interest on that money right now. If we move it, then they would be drawing interest on that separate account.
It has its own separate checking account, so that interest money will stay within that checking account in this fund.
So is that?
It will not be shared.
And that's money that we're getting now that they would be getting to draw interest off of?
For the opiate
Right.
fund, yes.
Now, who do you mean by they?
The opioid settlement fund.
That's us. It's still us.
Well, I'm saying though, we've been drawing extra interest off of it because of the amount. We're gonna reduce that amount now by this amount.
And then draw into this account.
And it'll be on a separate account, so it'll be a little less interest.
The interest it draws will go into its own account.
Yes, yeah, thank you.
And we've also had employees come out of this account, is that right?
No,
Yes,
which one?
we are doing the
Oh, the
health
ones we
department.
created. Yes, I thought you meant paying salaries for current staff.
No, the ones we created.
Yes, on a 1-year pilot basis for all 3. And all 3 either have been posted, the positions have been posted or are about to be posted.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Motion carries 14-0. All right, resolution 042408, a resolution amending the general purpose school fund 141, reflecting changes in expenditure limits for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. Motion by Wilson, second by Parks. Commissioner Wilson.
Once again, this has been through the budget, the special education grants, moving money to improve that playground that's behind the deck. And I think it's in paving. Nothing further.
Commissioner Parks.
Nothing further.
Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, before we pack up, motion carries 14-0. I'll recognize Commissioner Goss.
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank, our committees. I want to thank our representatives and a lot of people in the public. Just this past week, my kids lost their mom. Got a lot of prayers, had a lot of visits to the funeral home. It was beautiful. God gave us a beautiful day. She had a fantastic turnout. It's just a shame that, we have to pass away this old world to have our friends come visit. I want to thank you for about the cookout thing. That's one thing we can get people together. I hope we do it more. I'd like to see do more for them police. But on that behalf, I want to thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. My kids want to thank you. I ask for your prayer, and they ask for your prayer. Thank you very much.
Any other business to come before the county commission? Hearing none, seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you all.
Yeah.